Picture a country in Africa, unlike anywhere else on Earth. A nation smaller than Maryland, yet not a single inch lies lower than the elevation of Denver. A kingdom entirely enclosed by another country, reached mainly through a dramatic mountain pass rising more than 9,400 feet above sea level. Here, people proudly wear a hat shaped like a volcano on their national flag. Every morning, they wrap themselves in a traditional wool blanket as if putting on a suit, and that same blanket even appeared in a Marvel movie 6 years ago. Meanwhile, in a remote village standing 8,000 feet above sea level, an 80-year-old grandmother still weaves these iconic blankets by hand on a wooden loom, just as her mother did before her. In this remarkable country, Africa's largest dinosaur footprint rests only a mile from where a young shepherd leaves his own footprints every single morning. This is Lesotho, pronounced Lesotho, the kingdom in the sky. Today, my friend, we're making the journey there together. Part 1: The mountains keep kings. There's a flat-topped mountain outside Maseru. Locals call it Thababosiu, say Tababosiu, Mountain of the Night. The whole story of Lesotho starts on this rock. The year is 1824. Southern Africa is being torn apart by a period called the Lifakin, the scattering. A young Basotho leader named Mashushu is watching his people get pushed off their land. So he does something bold. He climbs this 328-foot mesa and tells his people, "This is our fortress now." Here's what's incredible. Mashushu never lost a battle on that mountain. Not to rival clans, not to the Boers, not to the British. And the legend says Thababosiu grows larger at night. Any enemy attacking in the dark somehow can't find the top. Today, the king and royal family are buried up there. Mashushu's Day, March 11th, is one of the biggest holidays of the year, and the international airport carries his name. You get to Thababosiu the same way people got there 200 years ago. You climb. Part 2: It exists between two worlds at the same time. One country, one single day, yet two completely different ways of life. In Maseru, you are standing at 5,250 feet, the same elevation as Boulder, Colorado. In the same district, factories produce jeans for Old Navy, Gap, and Levi's. You could be wearing something made in Lesotho without even realizing it. On Friday evenings, rooftop lounges shine between shopping centers. Famo music drifts through the streets. Street grills keep cooking until 2 a.m. But when Sunday arrives, the city becomes quiet. Now travel 4 hours south to Malalia, pronounced Malali. You pass through a mountain entrance where an English missionary placed a sign in 1900 that still remains today. It says, "Wayfarer, pause and look upon a gateway of paradise." No busy roads, no bright city lights, only the sound of sheep bells, a shepherd boy playing the lekalilo, donkeys walking where cars are rare. You spend the night inside a rendezvous, a circular stone hut with a thatched roof, wrapped beneath 2 Basotho blankets by candlelight, while the Milky Way shines through the doorway. One nation, 2 different rhythms. Part 3: The Morija Festival. Every September, in a village called Morija, just south of Maseru, something takes place that stays with you forever. For 5 days, the entire nation comes together. Known as the Morija Arts and Cultural Festival, it is one of the largest cultural celebrations in southern Africa. Tens of thousands of visitors arrive in a small village with only 3,000 residents. Poets perform beneath acacia trees. Choirs fill the air with powerful voices. African films premiere inside open-air tents. Artists, drummers, storytellers, dancers, and food sellers all gather for 5 unforgettable days. It feels like Newport Folk Festival mixed with Sundance, combined with a country fair sitting on top of the roof of Africa. Since 1999, the festival has continued growing every year. In 2026, it celebrates its 27th year. Here's the atmosphere. The air carries the scent of burning wood and wild sage, the mosin cone smoke that shepherds create on the mountains. Pollen response songs echo through your body. Tobo blankets appear everywhere, colored blue, red, yellow, and orange. A woman wrapped in a bright cobalt blanket spins through the crowd with laughter, and when the men perform the Majabilo dance, dust rises as their feet strike the ground together, and you feel the rhythm beneath your boot. This is the moment when a nation celebrates who it truly is for 5 days, and you can experience it too. If you miss Morija, don't worry. There is also the Thaba Bosu Cultural Festival during late winter, smaller, but more rugged. Pap, shakalaka, and sorghum beer fill the stalls. All right, my friend, you've discovered the magic of Lesotho. Part 4, Kingdom in the Sky. Your plane touches down at Mashushu International Airport just outside the capital. The runway is short, the wind feels intense, and when you look through the window, the entire country stretches below you like a giant wrinkled green blanket sewn into the heart of South Africa. Here is what makes Lesotho different from anywhere else on Earth. It is the only nation in the world where the entire country sits above 3,280 feet. There is not a single piece of land anywhere in Lesotho below that elevation. Its lowest point is 4,593 feet, which is higher than the famous mile-high city of Denver, Colorado. The country covers around 11,700 square miles, slightly smaller than Maryland, and it is completely surrounded by South Africa. In fact, Lesotho is one of only 3 independent countries in the world completely enclosed by another nation. The other 2 are Vatican City and San Marino, a pretty exclusive group. Its highest mountain, the Bana Ntilaniana, rises to 11,423 feet. That is higher than any summit in the Grand Teton Range. But here is something many people never expect about Africa. Lesotho experiences 4 true seasons. During winter, from May through August, temperatures in the highlands can fall to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than parts of Montana. And the most surprising thing, it snows. That is why Lesotho has Afroski, a ski resort sitting at 10,570 feet, the only ski resort in southern Africa. The sky above Lesotho creates unforgettable moments. The country lies in one of the world's most lightning-active regions, similar to Kansas during storm season. Local farmers understand clouds like you understand messages on your phone. On a clear night in the mountains, the Milky Way appears almost within reach, like the best nights at Big Ben, but at a much higher altitude. There is also a place called Simonkan, meaning place of smoke, because the mist from its waterfall rises so high that it can be seen from miles away. This is why Lesotho is known as the Kingdom in the Sky. It is not just a beautiful name, it is geography.
Picture this. You're standing at 8,000 feet. Something moves in the sky. A bird with a 10-foot wingspan glides overhead. In its beak, a bone. It flies up, higher, then lets it go. Meet the bearded vulture. Some call it the lammergeier. This is the only bird on Earth that eats bone marrow as its main diet. Here's how. It picks up a bone, flies 300 or 400 feet above sharp rocks, drops it. The bone shatters. The vulture spirals down and feasts on the marrow inside. In the animal kingdom, this is genius. In the mountains of Lesotho, this is background music. The bearded vulture is critically endangered. In southern Africa, only about 100 breeding pairs remain. and Celebathibi is one of the last places on Earth where they still nest. If you're lucky enough to see one at 8,000 feet, you're looking at a species that may not exist in 50 years. You'll see it on Lesotho postage stamps. The Basotho call it the clock of the mountains. If the bearded vulture is flying, the wild is still wild. Take you to a Basotho dinner table. Every plate starts with one thing: papa. It's a thick maize porridge eaten with your right hand. You shape it into a ball dip. It's called the bread of the Basotho because in this country, no meal exists without it. Alongside the papamoroho, wild greens cooked simple. Sometimes collards, sometimes a dandelion-like green called chukka. It looks humble. It carries a family through winter. For dessert, malva pudding. Sweet, spongy, drizzled with warm custard. At 7,000 feet, when the wind is knocking at the door, malva. Pudding is what you want. And to drink, Maluti beer. Brewed in country, named for the mountains you're sitting inside of. There's a fireplace tavern in Semankong called the Duck and Donkey, and if you find yourself with a bottle of Maluti and a stranger becoming a friend, that's a good night in Lesotho.
Part 7. Sani Pass. You know what makes Lesotho so special. Even reaching the country feels like an adventure. Meet Sani Pass. This is the legendary route that connects South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province with the highlands of Lesotho. A 4x4 vehicle is required. Regular cars are not allowed on this mountain road. The winding switchbacks are intense. The summit reaches 9,436 feet above sea level, higher than Mount St. Helens stood before its 1980 eruption. It is considered one of the most challenging mountain passes in the world. But at the top comes the reward. Sani Mountain Lodge, home to what is known as the highest pub in Africa. Sitting at 9,429 feet, you can enjoy a cold Maluti beer while clouds drift right through the parking area. On a clear day, the view stretches across the valleys of KwaZulu-Natal. On a cloudy day, trust me, you will still see something incredible. Clouds inside your window. Part 8. The Basotho Pony. Picture this. 6 a.m. in a mountain village 8,000 feet above sea level. An 11-year-old boy wraps a traditional blanket around his shoulders, places his mock-rotlo hat on his head, and climbs onto the back of a horse that looks almost smaller than him. That horse is the Basotho pony, one of Africa's most remarkable animals. Small in size, standing around 13 to 14 hands, about 52 to 56 inches at the shoulder. Compact, powerful, and built for the mountains. It is a mix between Java ponies brought here in the 17th century and European mountain horses. The breed has lived in Lesotho since around 1830. Even King Mashushu, I rode one. It doesn't require horseshoes. The rough mountain rocks naturally shape and strengthen its hooves. It survives on simple grass and remains incredibly tough. Its ability to move across a 45-degree mountain slope is something you have to see to believe. People often leave their ponies roaming freely in the highlands for months. Alone among the peaks, they find their own way back home. They cross rivers, climb narrow mountain paths, and travel over ridges reaching 11,000 feet. Basotho ponies do not lose their way. They return home, but here's what makes them truly special. In Lesotho, a pony is not a symbol of luxury. It is how children reach school, how grandmothers travel to church, how a sick neighbor can be taken to a doctor when the closest road is 30 miles away. Every July 17th, on the king's birthday, the nation celebrates with traditional pony races. And in remote villages without roads, visitors ride these ponies, stay in rendezvous, and help support local communities through tourism. Basotho have a saying, a horse is not a car, a horse is a neighbor. And when the sun disappears behind the mountains, the boy walks back into his rendezvous and turns on the music. Part 9. Celebathibi, pronounced Celebathibi. means shield of the plateau, and once you see it, the name makes perfect sense. It rises like a massive natural shield of golden sandstone standing against the endless sky. It was established in 1970 as Lesotho's first national park. Then in 2013, UNESCO included it as part of the Maloti Drakensberg World Heritage Site, one of only 2 mixed heritage sites in subequatorial Africa, a place where natural wonders and cultural history exist together. Hovering 25 square miles at an average elevation of 7,874 feet, the landscape feels almost unreal. Ancient rock arches rise like structures from a giant's playground. Locals call them the Three Bushmen. Each summer, the grasslands transform as wild flowers cover the valleys, including an endangered buttercup species found nowhere else on Earth. Inside the park are 65 sandstone rock art sites created by ancient communities. A critically endangered fish, the Maloti minnow, survives here and nowhere else. Part 10: The People of the Sky. Meet the Basotho. Say Basotho. One person is called a Basotho. An entire nation is called the Basotho. Around 2.1 million Basotho live in Lesotho today, and another 3 million people live across the border in South Africa. The first thing you notice about them is their clothing. Every morning, throughout the country, from a business leader walking through Kingsway to a young shepherd standing at 8,000 feet, people wrap themselves in a traditional wool blanket called the kobo. Say koorbo. It is not something worn only for celebrations. It is part of everyday life. Over the blanket sits a traditional straw hat shaped like a cone, called the mokorotlo. Say mokorotlo. That hat appears on the national flag. Its design is inspired by Mount Kilauea, a sacred volcanic mountain. But here is where the story becomes even more fascinating. In 2018, the movie Black Panther was released. You may have seen it. The powerful female warriors, the Dora Milaje, wear a special blanket. That blanket is based on a real Basotho kobo. It is woven at a local mill just south of the capital. Each blanket takes about 3 days to create on a traditional loom. The patterns are not just design. They carry meaning and tell stories. The Siana Marina represents weddings. Male Mahatla represents warriors. Sefate, the tree pattern, is traditionally given during graduation ceremonies. And here is what makes a Basotho wedding so special. People do not give envelopes filled with money. They give blankets, because a blanket protects you from the cold mountains and stays with you throughout life. There is a famous saying in Lesotho. You will see it on coins, on the national flag, and on the palace gates. Katso Pilanala. Say Katso Pilanala. Tis, rain, prosperity. In a country this high above the clouds, rain itself is a blessing and a greeting. You may have also heard another famous name connected to Lesotho, Prince Harry. He spent part of his gap year here in 2004. He returned in 2006 and created a charity called Zentebale, meaning Forget Me Not. The organization supports children affected by HIV. In return, the Basotho gave him a name, Mohale, warrior. But this is the story that stays with me the most. In a village called Hanai Kane, an 80-year-old grandmother still creates these blankets by hand, using a wooden loom. One of her blankets now sits inside a museum in Cape Town. Part 11. Dinosaurs and Ancient Painters. Alright, put your hand up if you usually think of dinosaurs when you hear Africa. Now let me surprise you. In 2017, scientists in Lesotho discovered a fossilized footprint measuring 22 inches long. It belonged to a dinosaur species known as Chintarpus ambercalohali, a predator related to T. rex, reaching around 30 feet in length and 9 feet tall. is the largest predatory dinosaur footprint ever discovered in Africa. And today, you can visit places like Subang, Morja, Matsing, and Moeni, where these ancient footprints remain preserved in sandstone for you to see with your own eyes. The Basotho have a name for these footprints, Minawane, big toes, but dinosaurs are only part of Lesotho's ancient story. Thousands of years later, another group left their mark on these same mountains. The Sand People, sometimes known as the Bushmen, created rock paintings across these cliffs for nearly 4,000 years. In the Maloti Drakensberg region, there are more than 600 rock art sites containing between 35,000 and 40,000 individual paintings. It is one of the largest collections south of the Sahara. Images of shamans, antelope, and healing dancers cover the ancient stone. The same mountains, separated by 200 million years of history, fall inside a country about the size of Maryland. Part 12. Malatsuniane Falls. Ready? Because this is the moment Lesotho takes your breath away. You hike about 3 miles from the village of Simonkang. You hear it before you see it. A deep roar, like a subway moving beneath your feet. Then you turn the corner. And there it is, Malatsuniane Falls, pronounced Malatsuniane. A 630-foot drop straight into the valley below. With one single plunge, it is almost 4 times taller than Niagara Falls. That is higher than the Empire State Building, from the ground all the way to its 86th floor observation deck. It is the second tallest single-drop waterfall in Africa. The name Simonkang means place of smoke, not because of fire, but because of the mist. The waterfall creates so much spray that its cloud can be seen from miles away across the highlands. Long before visitors reached the town, local people could see falls rising in the distance. But here is the incredible part. This is where you find the world's longest commercially operated single-drop abseil. A 669-foot descent down a basalt cliff beside the powerful waterfall. Even holds a Guinness World Record. And what makes it truly unforgettable? While you slowly rappel downward, bearded vultures can fly beneath you. Not above, below. You are not only standing above the waterfall, you are looking down on the birds themselves. In a nearby village called Hanai Kane lives a grandmother who raised 8 children within the sound of the falls. She once told a visitor, "I have heard this sound since the day I was born. The falls are my mother's lullaby." There is an old Basotho legend that says the thunder of the water is the morning song of spirits who were lost there. Beautiful, powerful, both at the same time. Malatsuniane is not simply a waterfall. It is a heartbeat of Lesotho. But water is not the only treasure this country keeps high in the mountains. Part 13. Famo, blankets, and Wakanda. Alright, my friend, you remember the blanket that boy is wearing. Now let me show you where that blanket goes when the country starts making music. There is a sound in Lesotho called Famo, the nation's musical heartbeat. It was born in the 1930s, deep inside the gold mines of South Africa, where Basotho men worked far away from their homes. An accordion, powerful drums, and voices carrying stories about wives waiting back in the mountain. If you want to understand the emotions of migration, listen to Famo. The most famous Famo singer was a woman named Puseletso Sima. Locals called her the Nightingale of Lesotho. And now, back to the blanket. That same kobo worn by the shepherd boy. The same one you saw on the Dora Milaje in Black Panther. Wakanda may be imaginary, but the blanket is completely real. A local mill in Maseru creates these blankets. Each one takes 3 days to weave on a traditional loom. The patterns are not simply decoration. They tell a person's story. For marriage, you are Siana Marina. For becoming a warrior, you are male Mahatma. For graduating school, your mother gives you Sefe, the tree pattern. In Lesotho, weddings are not celebrated with envelopes of money. They are celebrated with blankets. But there is another sound you will hear across these mountains. Shepherd boys play an unusual instrument called the lesba, a stringed mouth bow played with breath, creating a sound somewhere between a flute and the wind. It feels like the mountains are remembering something. And when the men perform the Mohabilo dance, their feet strike together, jumping high and sending dust into the air. You can feel the earth move beneath your boots. That is Lesotho in one soundtrack. Part 14. Spiral aloe and peach trees. You know what is incredible? Lesotho has a plant that exists nowhere else on Earth. It is called the spiral aloe. Its scientific name is Aloe polyphylla. It is the national flower of Lesotho. And the moment you see one, you understand why. Its leaves form 5 perfect spirals, turning clockwise every single time. It looks like nature created its own mandala, a green galaxy growing only in Lesotho. If you want to witness one yourself, visit the Katsi Botanical Garden, located beside the Heist Dam in Africa. There, spiral aloes grow along the mountain ridges like a slow-moving green tornado. Down in the valleys, almost every rendezvous has 2 special trees growing nearby, a peach tree and an apricot tree. When February arrives, the peaches become ripe and fall from the branches. Children climb the trees to collect them. Ponies wander below, eating the fallen peels from the ground. Grandmothers turn the fruit into homemade jam to save for the winter months. And across the Maloti Mountains, more than 300 endemic plant species grow, a greater number than the Great Smoky Mountains. Big wonders really do grow at high altitude. Part 15. Your Lesotho Playbook. Alright, before we finish this journey, here are the practical details you need to know to actually experience Lesotho. The best time to visit is April to May or September to October. The weather is mild, the landscapes are green, and most places are open. Want snow? Visit from June through August for afterski. Want wildflowers in Selabadet? Come between November and February. Want the Morija Festival? Planned for late September. Want Malatsunian Falls at its most powerful. The rainy season from November to March is the time to go. Try to avoid the coldest weeks of July unless you enjoy freezing highland nights below zero. Now let's talk money. Budget travelers can explore Lesotho for around $38 per day. That includes hostels, simple papa meals, and shared minibus taxis. A mid-range trip costs around $86 daily, with guest houses, restaurant meals, and a half-day pony trek. Luxury travel averages around $165 per day. Getting there is simple. Fly from the United States to Johannesburg. Round-trip flights usually cost between $1,100 and $1,800. From Johannesburg, take a 1-hour flight to Maseru for around $200, or make the 5-hour drive. In 2026, the exchange rate is roughly 17.7 Maloti for every US dollar. Remember, South African rand is accepted almost everywhere. For Americans, Europeans, British, Australians, and Canadians, Lesotho offers 90 days visa-free entry. Your passport should be valid for at least 6 months. If you drive a rental car from South Africa, you will need a temporary export permit at Maseru Bridge, costing around $30. 3 important rules. Sunday closures are serious, so finish your errands on Saturday. Sani Pass requires a 4x4 vehicle and winter conditions can close it without warning. Carry cash when leaving Maseru because ATMs become difficult to find. And if you want a meaningful souvenir, a handmade Kobo blanket from Marinda Mill costs around $30 to $50. It may be the best $30 you spend on this journey. Lesotho is not the easiest country to reach, and that is exactly why it is special. Lesotho, in the sky, a place where a blanket becomes a suit, where a pony becomes a neighbor, where 5,200 feet above sea level is called downtown, where dinosaurs left their footprints and shepherds still leave their songs, where the sky feels closer than the road beneath your feet. If you ever step into Lesotho, you will leave with something you cannot fully explain. Because Lesotho is not just a country. It is what happens when a people choose the mountains as their home, not as an obstacle. And when they invite you upward, you should answer the call. If Lesotho just entered your bucket list, comment Lumela. Say Lumela, the Lesotho word for hello. If this journey touched your heart, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next country we explore together. Turn on notifications for every new adventure. Where should we travel next? Japan, Morocco, Bhutan, or Peru? Share your guess in the comments and send this to the friend you would travel to Lesotho with. Until next time, my friend. Salahantel. Say Salahantel. That means stay well in Lesotho. Salahantel from the kingdom in the sky.